All right, everyone, welcome back to the Motive Anatomy. Yes, I'm sweaty already. Only I decide to do this when the sun's out, but I figure it's a good time since the upcoming week is going to be raining. So this is way long overdue. Cleaning the engine bay on my wife's daily, where we work, there's a lot of dirt. So the car has been sitting, and so this I think is a good point to clean it up, just to have it kind of hang out. A little bit of clean. A little bit clean. I guess the only thing that I would say is whenever you're cleaning your engine bay, just be careful, especially with the electrical. It's happened to me on Jackie, where some water got into the distributor, and then she wouldn't turn over, and so I had to go to the junkyard and pick up another one, and so on. This car is not going to be like that, so I definitely took extra precautions. I do admit that one time that it happened to Jackie, I think I semi-covered, and so I learned my lesson. So right now I'm using the mitts just to kind of rinse a little bit of water, and then I'm not using anything crazy. I'm just going to use a little bit of soap and water. I usually just go with the little brushes, but I wanted to use a little brush this time, just so it can get to some of the areas where my fingers and things like that can't get into. I also don't want to use something that is too rough. It's very soft, so the paint and the engine bay doesn't get scratched up. Other than that, like I said, it's just more to use it to, I guess, for peace of mind. I like to have things clean to the best of my abilities whenever I can. And the engine bay is definitely not one compartment that I like to pop the hood and, for people to be like, oh, you don't take care of your car. So anyways, let's get started. All right, I call that a straw bar, but it's just a little battery holder. Be careful when you do take them out, because obviously the other holders at the bottom, they're gonna come. This is what's keeping it straight, and so once you take them off, it'll leave the hangers per se loose. I'm almost tempted in taking everything out and cleaning the whole under tray, but last time when I took out the battery, unplugged the battery, I should say, when I changed the alternator on this car, and yes, the alternator went out. Actually, it was the starter, not so much the alternator. So there you go. So like I said, these little hangers, you guys have seen a Type battery, so just be careful. Nothing crazy about them, but they'll go like this. And again, I just took it off just so we can clean that part by itself individually. You don't necessarily have to do it, but whatever. So let's start by little rinse, and again, I almost blew it. Obviously, do this when your engine bay is cold. I haven't driven the car in quite a bit. So now that's that. Like I said, let's start with this corner. I know there's definitely no. Let's start with this corner. I know there's no wiring or anything like that, or anything exposed, so I can just go ahead and do a little bit of spray, especially on the sides, by the brake master cylinder and by the frame. So very simple. I'm gonna put a little bit on the brush, and then we're just gonna start from one corner. I like the sound that cleaning supplies make, like brushes. And right away, I can see that this was a good idea to pick up a little brush like this. There's a lot of areas where I was not gonna be able to reach myself. For the headlight. Now if you really want to get, you know, really, really in depth, you can move all of these components and give them a nice, you know, clean. I'm trying to use as much and as little as I need for the soap. Let's do a little bit on the trunk, on the actual hood. Now that you got the hood as well, same procedure. There's a little bit of the same procedure to the undercarriage of the hood. Nice and clean. Again, if you can't do it with brushes, if you don't have a brushes, and I know sometimes we just either don't feel like going and getting a brush, or we just don't have the funds. I usually just always just use a towel. It's been working for me. At the same time, I don't want this thing to just be sitting with water everywhere. So this is the critical part right here. All these different areas that have little vacuum lines and wiring and sensors that I don't want to get wet. Yes, I do the radiator hose as well. And we go deep into the fan. So yeah, I can definitely see a lot of dirt popping up already. I do apologize for the last wash and talk. The audio was really poor, and yes, I did get a lot of comments like, well, why don't you go wireless and things like that, and trying to keep this channel as easiest way for me to maneuver as possible without having to spend as much money. Because at the end of the day, it is for fun, you know, and if you to worry about everything being perfect, yeah, it's not fair for you guys, but at the same time, I think those who know that we're in a budget, then will understand. So I do apologize about that when it comes to the audio from the previous. But the message is still the same for all of you. You know, do what you guys can with what you guys have. There's always going to be something better. There's always going to be something, a better way to do it. Now you may be wondering, like, why don't you just clean the entire engine bay? And I've done it in the past, and I think like you're just rushing. So I'd rather just get half of the engine bay done, and then we can move on to the other half. And yeah, there'll be a little bit of I guess overspray, overwatering to the other side, but it's okay. We can always go back and fix it really quick. For this time around, I'm not gonna be using the AutoZone engine bay cleaner. I don't want to give any shine. I'm not much on the shining type of products that are out there. To me, I like nice, and if a plastic's supposed to be a plastic, then let it be a plastic. As you guys can tell, it's just let it. You don't need to have everything shine or chrome. We're not building a lowrider here. Some water's getting in the air box here. Luckily, this air box is super easy to remove. Couple clips. It gives us enough wiggle room to be able to pull it up. Push it back. And there you go. Most of the water is gone. Again, maintain the battery as dry as possible. We're not trying to get anything in the water and electrical mixed. Now you may be asking, well, why don't you just take out the battery? I don't want to be dealing with the whole Honda code. Last time I unplugged the battery, and it allowed me to just do some like reset so I can maintain my radio. I didn't know my radio code. I was like, oh, it's gonna be a headache. But no. And I don't want to be relying on that and thinking that it's always going to do that. Like I said, it's very simple since it's a newer car. So, because it's just dirt. Once you start getting to oil and everything, that's when it's near impossible to clean. For now, very simple. I don't like to put that dressing on the radiator hoses. I just like when at one point I did. At one point I think I would get the engine bay cleaners, and then I would put the whatever dressing to make everything nice and shiny. And it just reminds me of a used car lot where everything looks so shiny. It's almost like they're hiding all the other oil and all those stains, and I don't know. Just kind of got that idea from there, and so I'm like, nah, I'd rather just keep it like this. Lately, I've been definitely digging more of an OEM look. So like if I was to swap something into Jackie, I wanted to look OEM. Yes, at one point I wanted to tuck everything right, but then you realize like if there's something that breaks, to find the problem, it becomes very, very difficult. Try to get you guys towel as much as you can inside here. There'll be water sitting, and that's the reason again I decided to clean half of the engine bay first so I can focus a little bit more on this. There's a little bit of water on top of the valve cover, but it's not sitting on any electricals, and so that to me is more important than like right now. If I was trying to dry this and there's water on top of the alternator, I think I'll be more concerned. If you guys can reach to the heater core hoses, it's always a good feeling just to see them nice and clean back there. One thing that I absolutely love having clean is the firewall. This one's a little bit tougher to get to, but with a little bit of spraying there, here and there, we should be okay. This rubber right here, I'll show you guys right now so you guys can see the difference. It's just so therapeutic to see. So, as you guys can see right here, this is the before. Check out a little bit. This is how we left it. So I'll swing a little bit more. Same thing over here. So, you know, these cars take care of you. The least you can do is take care of them. This car always gets its oil change every 3,000 miles. Some may say it's an overkill. I say it's prevention. And I don't know. I think I feel accomplished after I do a simple oil change. I know for some people they take the same time to change the transmission that I do to change the oil. But leave me alone. I feel like a man changing oil. I don't know. It's the little things, you know, that whenever you're able to do those yourself, you save money. My wife had a conversation with one of their coworkers, and their coworker owns a BMW 3 Series. And now, I don't know exactly what they go in to get service for, but they're like, yeah, every time we go it's about $600. I was like, what the hell? How in the hell do you spend $600 every time you go for like a maintenance? apparently that's what they charge. And you know, they were going around like, yeah, me too, you know, mine's like 300, mine's this, blah blah blah. Then when I got to my wife's like, how much do you spend? Oh, Gus does the maintenance. I'm like, did you feel like you were married to a man? She goes, I don't know what that means, but sure. Let's cover some of these electricals here so we can start on the other side. Now at this point, if you don't know me that I'm a smart ass, then you haven't been subscribed to the channel long enough. Take a look at some of the other interviews and you'll be able to see that I'm always talking smack in a good way. I just try to have fun and make people laugh at me or at the situation, but point is make people laugh. This towel got dirty really, really quickly. So like I said, no special, you know, sprays or anything like that added to the car. Just keeping it as simple as possible. Again, let's try to cover the alternator as much as possible. And let's do the other side. Start from the top. Hi, Chubbs. Se mojo, güey. Like I said, yeah, you might be overdoing it because you already just washed that side, but we're not in a rush. Let's get the water reservoir and those other little areas nice and clean. All right, so like I said, we knew that there was gonna be a little bit of overspray. We already cleaned this side of the valve cover. It's okay, people. We're not gonna make it a big deal. Again, using as much as and as little as I can. That firewall back there, no way I can reach it. I'm trying to avoid most of the lines, especially electrical. Let's get some here. But like I said, this is very therapeutic for me. Let's make sure that hood, the O2 sensor, let's be careful with that. And again, a little spray. So yeah, I've been listening to a few YouTube channels, and I strongly believe in some of the different things that they have to say. If you guys never listened to Ed Milet does interviews, not just to billionaires. Most of them are millionaires and billionaires, you know, but it's people that are motivating. And one of the things that they always talk about is your surroundings, what type of environment that you're hanging out with. I really strongly believe that you are what you hang out with or who you hang out with. If you hang out with 9 ducks, you're gonna be the 10th. If you hang out with a whole bunch of people that like to go to the gym, eventually they're gonna be like, hey, how come you're not going to the gym with us? It's gonna be an expectation. It's not whether, oh, you feel like it today. Let's get those hoses. Let's put a little bit more of soap on the actual brush. Very lightly, I don't want to scratch up the valve cover, even though I try to choose the lightest of, definitely no water into the valve cover. So as we do that, let me clean it up a little bit. You're a product of your environment, right? They say that, and that can be good and bad. And so I challenge you guys to do something different, to hang out with different people. Maybe a different culture. Maybe it doesn't always have to be the same thing. Maybe you're tired of just always doing the same thing with your buddies. If it's just drinking, if you're just drinking, then you already know that come Thursday and Friday, they're gonna want to drink. If it's working on cars, cool, you know. But then create another circle for yourself. Don't be one-dimensional. Life can't just be about cars. Life can't just be about work. I think we have to have a nice little healthy balance. My wife and I went to let's get these little AC line. The airflow comes out really easily. You guys can see it's a little dirty. Don't ever think that, you know, in the process of the game, I have to continue to be certain someone because people that have met me for a long time have known me to be the hard worker that I am. Well, yeah, man, it's okay. We can have to kick back a little bit and hang out with them a little bit more. I think the people that truly want your happiness and your mental and your physical well-being will understand that life is not always about work. And if work is your hobby, then yeah, more power to you. But I still think that you should develop other habits. Business and non-business, whether you own the business yourself or you don't, work is always going to be there. You will not. So I'm not trying to send mixed messages. I'm not saying work hard, but then don't work too hard. I think that in life you need to have a balance. Whatever that is to you. If you like working 80% of the time and 20% relaxing, that's fine. No one's going to argue. I just think that we're in this earth for X amount of time. And let's push when we need to push and relax when we need to relax. Let's go up the alternator. There you go. Simple as that. And again, we're gonna put it back in, and there's gonna be a little bit more water that goes in there. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. I think I am running low on this, so I gotta put some. Gotta go to Honda to put the appropriate one. It's been such a good car. Super good car, honestly. That Honda doesn't make good products. Not good products, but they don't make them like they used to. But they still make some hell of a cars. You might not win race. You're not gonna win races, but a little bit stronger on the water pressure just for the back. Lighter in the front. Cover up the O2 sensor again. And this side, there's no wires there. At least that I'm aware of. And we got it. Cool. Let's move this so there's no water dripping into that. And then let's move these ones. Start with the hood so that way there's no water, too much water I guess dripping. You go in and remember that it doesn't matter what environment you're in, that's not your ending. Just because you started doesn't mean that that's where you're in. And it's not about financial, it's just about maybe before you didn't like to read books. Now hang out with people that love to read books and do that. I got some water over here, that's fine. Working double around here. Good thing I enjoy this, otherwise there's no way I would have done none of this. Maybe for you sports, I know that for me, I've always loved sports, and I never really had anybody to play sports with. Growing up, I couldn't afford it. My mom always worked, 10 plus hours, but she didn't have transportation, so I had 3.5 hours of commute in the bus. So she would leave like at 5 in the morning, come back at 6, straight to the kitchen to make us something to eat or, do what she had to do. And then just kind of relax for a little bit and get ready for the next day routine. So I knew at a young age, like I didn't have the option to say, hey mom, at school they're gonna have soccer tryouts. And if I make it, which I've always liked speed, just because I'm overweight, but I always had good coordination. I know I could have played very well if I would apply myself, watch what I eat, and hang out with people. Again, kind of going back to the environment, I didn't have that environment where, hey man, let's go run, or so I lacked that a lot. And that's why I was never able to take my game to the, higher level. I would go and play with my buddies, and uh, teams would approach me, coach would be like, hey man, you're pretty good, you want to come and play with us? And I'll be like, yeah, so excited, and then when they would be like, well, it's gonna be this much and this much for uniform and shoes, and it adds up. I remember one time there was a coach who's like, hey, you know, play with me, and if you score a couple goals, you can keep the shoes. And I was so excited. I scored both goals that I was supposed to score to keep all that shoes too, by the way, not even new. And then I couldn't make it to a couple games because of the ride, situation. I told her, hey, like I can't make it to the game because I don't have a ride. Her truck was full already, so after the second game, she's like, hey, can I have my shoes back? All right. I walked over to her house. I'm like, here. I know I have potential, but I wasn't gonna go on complaining and, Mom, how come I can't, like, no, we barely had money to freaking. And just to make sure I'm dead honest with you guys, we didn't have money. It's not like nowadays where people say, oh, we're broke, and they take out both their cell phones and they get into their brand new car and they go home, right? No, none of that shit, man. We were broke, but we never lacked the necessities, the most important things. So, one, we always had love. Two, we always had home. We always had food. So everything else that we wanted was just a luxury. There's no limitations to what we can do. Maybe you grew up in a household where nobody does exercise, so you cannot involve yourself in the household. And that means you love your family, but that means that you have to go and embrace yourself in a different type of family that loves fitness. And I don't see it as a bad thing. There's a little picture that has a butterfly and what would be a caterpillar, and the caterpillar, I can't even pronounce it. English is a second language. The caterpillar, that's how you pronounce it, looks at the butterfly and says, "You've changed." And the butterfly looks at him and says, "We're supposed to." Yeah, man. If you're 28 and you're still doing what you were doing 16, 17, 18, think about what you're doing. Now, if you're truly happy, why not? Keep doing it. But if you're not in a position where you want to be, maybe that has to do something to do with it. But the more I meet people that are goal-driven, motivating, I realize that, holy crap, I think I'm doing stuff, I'm not doing anything. I'm a slob, I'm slow, I'm lazy compared to all these individuals. And they're not younger than I am, they're older. I'm like, you're doing that and that? Like, yeah. And what time do you go to sleep? And what time do you get up? Yeah. It's like, yeah, and I still have time to play with my kids. Holy crap. There goes Mr. Gus, Mr. Motivator. So I'm like, you know what? Nope. Let me get my stuff together. So again, that was just spraying it. That's not even, we're not trying to. So again, we spray a little bit, not too much. Don't get all crazy. We're not trying to have it all be super, super shiny. So I do appreciate all of you who tune in to my nonsense. I've gotten such positive comments and DMs. I know a lot of people say that all the time. Oh, I've gotten this DM. No, I actually have. Yeah, you motivate me. Dude, I'm nobody, man. Just do something that you want to do for fun. In the process, you'll meet a lot of cool people. A lot of cool people like I have. My only regret is I wish I would have started sooner. But would have, should have, could have doesn't exist. So we move on. And that's fine. The greatest thing I could have done, stand on my own 2 feet by myself. At the time it was rough. I was a teenager. But now it's the greatest thing that I've ever could have done for myself. So I guess my 16-year-old self thinks, wow, where would I be if I would have continued that path? And my 28-year-old self says, thank you so much to that 16-year-old who took that leap of just being. So now my 28-year-old self just says thank you to that 16-year-old for taking the leap and being brave and putting myself in a different environment where, something better and positive came out. And so that's the same thing with whatever you're at right now in life. Surround yourself with those support systems that are actually motivating you and benefiting you. Not just the same more routine where you're not doing what you're supposed to. And kind of going through life like, well, this is it. This is life. Nah, man, there's more to it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Engine bay, like I said, looks clean. No added, definitely nothing, no dressings or anything like that. And that's how I like it nice and simple. So yeah, I was able to get into some of these areas right here. The back looks okay. Could look better. The block's still super clean, and so I'm happy about that. So yeah, like I said, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. So keep pushing yourself and surrounding yourself with positive individuals that will motivate you, and that one day you can look back 3 or 5 years from now and be like, damn, that was the best decision that I could have done for myself and for my family. I've been hearing a lot of sirens around. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, thank you guys so much, and